Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy Beaky, and let's talk the utter madness that is Google Stadia and their continuous, just week by week drama of just like being a bad brand for gaming. Like, it doesn't make sense. Now, the one good thing that's happened to Google Stadia in the last few months is literally the bad stuff that happened to Cyberpunk, because where consoles were having a horrible experience with Cyberpunk upon release, and some PC players using NVIDIA GeForce were having problems with stability, at least Stadia could have said, like, hey, if you play it on Stadia, it'll still have all the bugs, it'll still be messy and stuff, but it probably won't crash on our systems. And that was one of the few things that Stadia had going for it. But what about in-house developers? Well, let's talk about this. This headline comes from Kotaku, not a website I would read very often. I disagree with a lot what they have to post, but this headline was just awesome. Stadia developers can't fix the bugs in their own game because Google fired them. Update, it's been patched. This came out yesterday, and I wanted to wait on this story. No, 2 days ago. But I wanted to wait on this story because I figured that Google would probably take their head out there, you know where, and actually fix this because it just looks bad. So what happened here? There was a developer called Typhoon Games, and this studio, right, made a game called A Journey to the Savage Planet. That's the name of the game. The game came out on other platforms earlier, but unfortunately they were bought up, or fortunately if they got a lot of money, it's Typhoon Studios, by the way, not games, they were bought up by Google in 2018. Now that game, the IP becomes Google's, and it's Google's responsibility with these developers and with their teams to patch this game. But here's what happened. Google is shuttering their game development studios. Jade Raymond is leaving. All those employees are going to be reassigned into the company or have to find other gainful employment, after we recently found out that 1 to 2 weeks before, Phil Harrison was basically saying, hey guys, you're game developers, you're doing a great job, you're making great games. And then he comes knowing that he's going to shutter this whole entire project. 2 weeks later, it's like, yeah, I was kind of just bullshitting. You guys were doing a good job, but it doesn't matter because I'm closing you down because Microsoft and Game Pass is doing too good after they bought up Xbox. And he probably was like, I don't like that because I got let go from Microsoft, not let go, but he resigned, got his package, whatever. And them competing in the space where it takes, a good many years to make some AAA games, sometimes it could take anywhere from 2 to 5 years, and you need to build your team, make those games. And it seems like Google was not interested in investing that money in the long run for Stadia, especially with the numbers that are currently in. So what's happening now? This game, The Journey, is on Stadia. The developers are technically limbo right now in the Google organization, or if they haven't left, I don't know specifically. Player contacts 505, the publisher of the game on different platforms, who once had a relationship with the developers, but currently don't. They don't have access to any of the code data, and the 505 chat support was brutal. Basically said, well, this is on Google, and Google working with the developers that they fired to get the game fixed, because we can't do anything. This is on Google's mess. This is their own game, and the fact that you're contacting us shows that Google doesn't even realize this is their own problem, because the player actually contacted Google support first, and Google support told them to go to the publisher of the game, when Google support didn't even realize that they were the publisher of the game. So I think this shows you how little Google actually cares about console quality, PC quality games and have support for stuff like this. They just don't have the playbook. They're just not trained correctly to even know that they own the game. Yes, Google is big in the gaming world when it comes to Android for the Play Store, because they make plenty of money from those games and microtransactions there. They know what's happening there, but them stepping into this new market, they clearly have not prepped themselves for what's to come. You would have think with all the experience that Phil Harrison has, he would have imparted some of these lessons to the Google execs, the support teams, but apparently not. Like, nah, the game doesn't belong to us. Go talk to this other guy. Then these other guys talk shit on us and like, oh, a day later, like, ooh, everybody's talking about this. It looks really bad. Let's figure out if we could get these developers or somebody back and fix the game that we own. That this game has been out for a bit now. Like, not crazy long, but you could have fixed this before firing these people. Or, like, the game's been out before this. Like, ugh. It's just all around bad look. It's just like bad for the players of Stadia. I feel for you guys. I feel that you're buying these games on this platform to play, or you're paying your $9.99 for your Stadia Pro to hopefully get 4K 60 FPS when we found out from Digital Foundry that most of these games actually are PC quality 4K 60 FPS, even without the, you know, the stream quality getting degraded from being a video. The games are not actually being run on Google servers at 4K 60. That Bungie's in this lawsuit and Google's in a lawsuit from customers. Will the customer win this lawsuit? Who knows? But I will say that looking into that lawsuit situation, if you guys haven't watched the videos from like Young Yeah and all that, I will say that it looks really bad, because I even thought like, oh, if you bought the Stadia Pro subscription that you would be able to play these games on the max PC settings, when these games are actually not being run on the max PC settings. Sometimes they're running at 1080p, 1440p, and then upscaled to 4K, which is not what they actually said in their advertisement. So false advertising is bigger some places than others. In America, it may not be the biggest thing, but over in UK, over in Europe, you know, it's a little different. In Australia, it's a little different with false advertising. So depending on where they're going to be getting sued from this, they could be bitten in the ass. But overall, I just can't believe this every week. Stadia is just not. It's never just like Stadia bought up a great big developer and they're coming out with some cool games. Stadia decided to fully go into the Netflix of streaming and just decided not sell games anymore. Pick a good price, and they're paying developers a good portion of the profits to want to come over and put their games on the service, and it's going to be a rotating thing like Netflix, and make me try it. Guys, I tried so many on live. I literally still have an online game console. Gaikai, you remember all that? PlayStation Now. I have a review on my channel of PlayStation Now. Game Pass, the streaming thing. I've tried it on my phone. I've tried Xbox Game Pass on my mobile. And through all of that, I've not tried Stadia. Because why? There's just like, there's no incentive for me and Google to try it, because everything they promised, from the YouTube integration to these massive games with 1,000 players, none of it has materialized in the last year plus. Even the fact that they're not even supporting their Chromecast is the newest one, unless there's an update later on, makes me feel like, I'm not sure you're going to be around for the long haul with this. And also, this should have been something that integrated with every type of smart TV that was coming out in the last year. I thought that's where Google was going with this. Like, every single TV coming out would just have, boom, a Stadia app on it. Just like how you could download Android apps, all the Android TVs. No. This looks like it's going to be another product from Google going into the Google graveyard. That's what Stadia looks like. And that makes me not want to try it, even if it runs great, even if it plays great. Hopefully it sticks around and they don't abandon it in the next year or two for the people who have bought games on it. But I am not hopeful, honestly. Speak here with the Untitled Game Show. I'll be back with more. Later.